What if I told you there's a single sentence that could anchor you in a woman's heart, not because it's romantic, but because it's real? It's not "I love you," it's not flowers, promises, or long texts at midnight. It's something far deeper, something that touches the part of her that doubts, that hides, that silently asks, "Do you really see me?" You see, most men speak to a woman's ears, few speak to her soul, and fewer still know how to say the words that make her feel safe and alive. In the same breath, the truth. What captures a woman's heart isn't charm, it's clarity. And right now, many of you are stuck in silence. You're afraid to speak honestly. You've been told vulnerability makes you weak, but that's a lie. Because the man who can look her in the eyes and say, "I choose you, not for who you pretend to be, but for who you are when no one's watching," that man, he stays in her heart long after everyone else is forgotten. So here's your moment. You either keep playing safe and stay forgettable, or you say what most never dare to say and become unforgettable. If you're ready, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and comment below. I choose to speak truth, not tactics. Number 1. The words that haunt her. Stoic sentences she'll never forget. One sentence. That's all it takes. Not a compliment, not a pickup line, just one grounded, unfazed line that slides beneath her surface and lives there. It's not about being poetic. It's not about being charming. It's about presence. The kind of masculine presence that doesn't ask to be remembered, but simply is. Modern men speak too much and say too little. They seek validation with words, trying to earn interest through flattery or wit. But the Stoic man does the opposite. He speaks little, yet with weight. His words don't chase, they anchor. Take this for example. You're free to walk away. It's calm, it's not defensive, and it changes the entire energy of a conversation. Most men plead for attention when a woman pulls back. But a man who says this, he signals self-worth. He shows her she's not being held, she's being chosen. And when you tell a woman she's free, paradoxically, she starts questioning whether she wants to leave. This is the power of emotional independence. Women don't remember the man who needed them. They remember the man who didn't need but still wanted. And more than that, the man who wasn't afraid to lose. Then there's "I don't need you to understand me." It sounds cold, but it's not. It's clarity. It says, "I know who I am." And when a woman hears that, it disarms her. She realizes she can't manipulate, mold, or shake this man into needing validation. And suddenly she's the one who wants to understand. Another example. Peace is more important than winning. Say this when things get heated, when she tries to bait you into an argument, when tension builds. You diffuse it not with anger, but with composure. You choose silence over control. You become the eye of the storm. And that image of a man who won't argue to protect his pride sticks in her mind far longer than the loudest voice ever could. The man who can say, "I can walk away, but I choose to stay," doesn't just attract, he unsettles. He flips the script. He reclaims his power. He shows her she's not a necessity, she's a conscious choice. And for a woman used to being chased, that's both terrifying and unforgettable. So, why do these words hit so deep? Because they come from alignment, from truth, from a man who's mastered his emotions. He doesn't weaponize his words to provoke or manipulate. He simply states what is, and what is. When spoken from presence, is impossible to forget. She'll hear many voices in her life, but she'll remember the one that didn't raise itself to be heard now. Comment below. One sentence, one shift, one memory. She can't find a faith. Erase number 2, you're free to walk away. Why that one line changes everything. Say it calmly. No anger, no sarcasm, just a quiet statement of fact. You're free to walk away. To the untrained ear, it might sound passive, even indifferent. But to the emotionally attuned woman, this sentence lands like a thunderclap. Because in one moment, it flips the dynamic and tells her exactly who she's dealing with. When they feel a woman pulling away, most men respond with grasping. They overextend, they overexplain. They try to fix, impress, or plead. They operate from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of being forgotten. But the Stoic man, he doesn't chase closure, he embodies it. You're free to walk away. Doesn't mean you don't care. It means your self-worth isn't tethered to whether she stays or goes. It means you're grounded enough to willingly let go of what doesn't come. And that energy, that mix of peace and power, is rare. That's why she remembers it. When you speak those words with stillness, you create a space she's not used to, a space where control doesn't work, where games fall flat, where her usual tactics, withdrawal, hot and cold behavior, subtle tests, don't shake your frame. Instead, she's the one who starts to feel the instability. It's not a line meant to provoke. It's a mirror. You're showing her that she has a choice, and so do you. You don't need her to stay, but you're not pushing her away either. That neutrality creates emotional tension. It creates the question that lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends. Why didn't he fight for me? Or why didn't he need to? From a Stoic perspective, this sentence reflects the highest form of freedom, internal freedom. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The man who says you're free to walk away has already let go of the outcome. And ironically, that's what makes women want to stay. It's a paradox of power. The man who doesn't cling becomes the one she clings to, not because he manipulates, but because he stands still while the rest of the world reacts. If she walks away, you remain whole. If she stays, it's because she respects. That she didn't have to beg for your attention, and neither did you. That kind of mutual respect lays the foundation for something deeper. And if she's not ready for it, let her go. You'll never lose what was truly aligned with your peace. Now, speak out and comment below. I offer freedom, not control, and that's why I'm remembered. Number 3, I don't need you to understand me. The sentence that unsettles her world. Imagine you're in a conversation with a woman. Maybe things are starting to shift. She's pulling away emotionally, questioning your intentions, or trying to decode your silence. She asks, "What are you thinking?" or says, "You're so hard to read." Most men rush to explain themselves, hoping to be seen clearly. But you look her in the eye and say, "I don't need you to understand me." Pause. The room changes. That one line, so calm, so grounded, hits differently. It doesn't come from ego. It's not a power move. It's a boundary, a declaration of sovereignty. And in that moment, you stop being someone she's evaluating and become someone she can't stop thinking about. Here's the truth. Most women are used. Men trying to be understood, they overexpress, they overshare, they search for sympathy or connection through emotional exposure. And while vulnerability has its place, desire lives in mystery. When you detach from the need to be understood, you become a puzzle one she wants to solve, not out of obligation but curiosity. This line flips the power dynamic. It says, "I know myself. I don't need external permission to be at peace with my identity." It shows that your identity isn't waiting for approval, and that kind of internal confidence is rare. From a Stoic perspective, this is a perfect embodiment of self-containment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do, only what you do." When you stop performing, you begin to attract attention in a new way. Without effort, when you say, "I don't need you to understand me," you ripple through her frame. She suddenly realizes, this man doesn't orbit around me. He's not here to be studied, solved, or softened. He's complete, with or without my approval. And the psychological effect is powerful. You become the one she wonders about. When the conversation ends, the one she replays in her mind, the one she brings up to her friends, not because you were loud, but because you were quietly immovable. This isn't about being cold or aloof. It's about ownership. You're not building walls. You're revealing that you already live in a fortress. And when a man no longer needs to be understood, he becomes unforgettable, not because he tried to be, but because he stood exactly where he was, unshaken. Now comment below. I don't need to be understood. I need to stay. Grounded number 4, peace, is more important than winning the line that silences chaos she's escalating. Her voice sharpens, the tone shifts. You're standing in the heat of a disagreement and you feel the familiar pull, the urge to prove yourself, defend, and win. Most men cave into that pull. They argue, they match her energy, they try to be right. But you don't. You breathe. Look her in the eye and say, peace is more important than winning. And just like that, the room softens. This sentence is a reset button, a boundary wrapped in calm. It doesn't surrender, it transcends. Because you're not backing down from truth, you're rising above ego. Most men in conflict fight for dominance. They want to win the conversation, be heard, be validated. But the Stoic man, he values something deeper, inner stillness. And this line proves it. When you say peace is more important than winning, you instantly shift the emotional landscape. You show her that your identity isn't on trial, that you don't need to win an argument to feel whole, that you don't play emotional tug-of-war because you've already let go of the rope. From a Stoic lens, this is strength. As Seneca said, he is most powerful who has power over himself. And in that moment, your restraint becomes the loudest thing in the room. You don't silence her with volume. You silence chaos with composure. And here's the twist. That silence, that emotional steadiness, it's wildly attractive. Because it's rare. Because it makes her feel safe. Because in a world full of reactive men, you become the still point in her storm. Most women don't want a man who always agrees. They want a man who can hold space when things get messy, who doesn't flinch when emotions rise, who doesn't throw fuel on the fire just to feel superior. This one line is a testament that you can stand in fire and not be burned psychologically. This shifts her focus. She no longer sees you as an opponent. She sees you as a mirror. And if she's emotionally intelligent, she'll follow your lead. If not, you'll still walk away in peace, unshaken, undiminished. It's not about being passive. It's about being anchored. You're not afraid to speak truth, but choose when and how you fight the battles that matter, and walk away from the ones that only feed pride. Because in the end, your peace is the real victory. Now comment below, I don't need to win. I need to stay in peace. Next ChatGPT Denoy number 5. I can walk away, but I choose to stay. The most powerful choice a man can make. Imagine standing face to face with a woman who's used to being chased, who's heard every version of, I need you, I can't lose you, or you're everything. But instead of pleading, you look her calmly in the eye and say, I can walk away, but I choose to stay. It's not a threat. It's not a tactic. It's a declaration of strength and freedom. This single sentence reframes everything. It says, you don't hold me here. I'm not trapped by attachment. I stay because I want to, not because I have to. And that changes the dynamic from one of emotional dependency to one of conscious choice. From a Stoic perspective, this is the ultimate test of power. As Epictetus said, he who is not a slave to necessity is truly free. When you stay in a relationship, not because you fear loss, but because you honor connection, you operate from clarity, not compulsion. Women remember this line because it stirs two powerful emotions, safety and tension. Safety because it shows you're not acting out of desperation. Tension because it reminds her that you're not afraid to leave. And in that delicate space between those two, attraction deepens. Psychologically, the effect is magnetic. Most people, men and women alike, are used to others staying out of habit or fear, but when you say, "I choose to stay," you become unpredictable, not erratic, but independent, and independence. This sentence also highlights a critical truth. The real bond isn't built on possession, but presence. You're not staying because she completes you. You're staying because you are already complete and still find her worthy of your time, energy, and attention. That's a whole different kind of love, one based on freedom, one that invites, not traps, one that breathes instead of suffocates. When a woman hears this from a man who truly means it, it hits her core, not because it flatters her, but because it grounds her. She realizes she's not being clung to, she's being chosen, moment by moment, by someone who dares to walk away and the strength to stay. And if she can match that energy, the connection becomes electric. If not, you walk. Without guilt, without anger, without explanation. Because choosing to stay is only powerful when it comes with the ability to leave. No. Comment below. I choose to stay, not because I must, but because I can. Number 6. I know what you need, even when you don't. The line that bypasses her mind and goes straight to her heart. She's overthinking, guarded, trying to hide behind control. Maybe she's busy explaining why she's fine, while her tone says otherwise. Most men try to fix it logically, or back off out of confusion. But the Stoic man, he observes, he waits. Then, without hesitation, says, I know what you need, even when you don't. Instantly, the air shifts. This isn't arrogance, it's attunement. It's the rare ability to see her behind the mask, even when she doesn't fully see herself. In a world where most people are too distracted to notice, this sentence stops her. Because for a woman, few things are more emotionally powerful than being understood. Without explaining, it cuts through the noise. It tells her, you don't have to perform here. I see you. Most men operate on the surface. They wait for her to communicate her needs clearly, when in reality, emotional needs are often unspoken. The man who can read the silence, the shift in tone, the flicker in her eyes, that man stands apart. And it sticks with her when he speaks from that place of inner calm and intuitive clarity. Why? Because it makes her feel safe. And not just safe to be emotional, but safe to be herself. And that's a feeling most women rarely get from men. From a Stoic perspective, this is the wisdom of presence. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you train your thoughts to be observant, intentional, and still, your words carry a different weight. I know what you need even when you don't isn't a magic spell. It's a reflection of how well you attention. You're not trying to dominate her experience. You're simply meeting her where she is, with no demand in return. That energy, that is what makes you unforgettable. It also creates emotional tension in the best way, because now she's questioning, how does he see through me? How did he know that? Mystery builds trust, respect, and attraction, not from charm, but from depth. And here's the key. You can only say this line authentically when it's true. You must earn the right to say it by observing, by understanding, by choosing presence over performance. When you do, she'll not only hear it, she'll feel it. Because the man who understands without prying, who provides without controlling, becomes the man she thinks about long after he's gone. No comment below, I don't. Guess? I observe and respond. Number 7. I don't fear losing you. The sentence that turns the tables. There comes a moment in every connection, romantic or otherwise, where power quietly shifts. Maybe it's after an argument. Perhaps it's when she pulls away to test your response. Or maybe it's when she subtly hints that she could leave. expecting you to plead, but instead, you look her in the eye and say, "I don't fear losing you." Time stops, because that sentence doesn't come from resentment, and it's not a dare. It's calm, centered, liberated, and that's exactly why it hits like lightning. Most men operate from fear, fear of rejection, of abandonment, of being left behind. And whether they show it through clinging, over-colizing, or trying too hard, that fear bleeds into the dynamic. It makes them predictable. It makes them controllable. It makes them forgettable. But when you speak from a place of emotional sovereignty, when you show that your sense of self is not tied to her presence, you become something entirely different in her mind, a man she cannot manipulate and yet cannot forget. From a Stoic lens, this sentence reflects the highest form of power, self-sourced canali. As Seneca said, a wise man is content with himself. You don't threaten her, you don't guilt trip, you simply acknowledge a truth most people are too afraid to face: that love. To be meaningful must be freely chosen, not clung to. And when a woman hears you say, "I don't fear losing you," it plants a seed in her subconscious. Because most men react emotionally when they feel distance. They rush in, they try to fix things, they beg. But you choose silence, stillness, clarity. That contrast, it unsettles her, but in the most captivating way. Because now you're the unknown, and the unknown is what women remember. She starts to wonder, why doesn't he chase? Does he not care, or is he just that sure of his worth? That internal questioning makes her lean in, because the man who can walk away, who doesn't crumble under the weight of uncertainty, is the one she suddenly doesn't want to lose. This isn't about indifference. It's about choice. You care, but that care does not enslave you. You love, but not at the cost of your peace. You're present, but never dependent. And that balance, that emotional discipline, it makes you magnetic. Because while most men fear loss, you respect yourself too much to be afraid of it. And the moment you stop fearing her absence is when she starts fearing yours. Now, comment below, "I don't fear losing her. I fear losing." 8. Why Stoic words stay with her long after you're gone. It's not the loudest man she remembers, not the funniest, not the one who sent the most messages or poured his heart out on the first date. It's the one who said the least but meant every word. The one whose sentences carried the weight of self-acknowledge. The one who didn't speak to impress but to reveal. Because in a world of noise, what sticks isn't volume, it's vibration. And the Stoic man, measured, composed, intentional, speaks with a frequency that lingers in her nervous system long after the moment has passed. Why? Because his words aren't tricks. They're truths. You're free to walk away. I don't need you to understand me. Peace is more important than winning. I can walk away, but I choose to stay. I know what you need, even when you don't. I don't fear losing you. Each one is a reflection of inner stillness, not a script to be memorized, but a mindset to be embodied. These aren't phrases for effect. They're echoes of emotional mastery. And when a woman truly hears these words, something shifts inside her, not because they're poetic, but because they disrupt the pattern she's used to. Men reacting, pleading, performing. She's not used to a man who says little, but says exactly what needs to be said, without apology or hesitation. That's what makes him unforgettable. From a Stoic perspective, this is the essence of logos, speech that reflects reason, restraint, and alignment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind, and a man who trains his thoughts in stillness naturally speaks from a different source, not emotion, not ego, but clarity." These phrases land because they don't beg for understanding, they command it. They don't seek approval, they reflect identity. And they don't try to control. They release us what makes them powerful. So when she replays your voice in her head, it's not because you talk the most. It's because your energy wrapped around a single sentence and etched itself into her memory. She'll meet others, she'll have conversations, but there will be unexpected moments when she'll remember you, how you looked at her, when you said something she wasn't ready to hear but couldn't forget. The way your words didn't ask for permission, they simply were, and that is the true signature of the Stoic man. Not in the noise he makes, but in the echo he leaves behind. No comment below. I speak less, but I echo longer. You came into this unsure, wondering what it takes, thinking maybe it was about saying more, doing more, proving yourself. But now you know it was never about effort. It was about alignment, about honesty, about saying the one thing that no strategy, no script can replace. The truth of what you see in her, without needing anything back. That kind of presence, it's rare. And when a woman feels it, she doesn't forget it. Your power isn't in how loud you speak, it's in how deeply you see, and how boldly you say what you mean, when it matters most. So if you're done with pretending, or if you're ready to connect for real, then like this video, subscribe, and comment below. I speak from depth, not performance. Keep showing up. Keep speaking truth, because the words that change hearts are the ones spoken from a quiet mind and a fearless soul.